Vincent, what is Azure Data Explorer?
Azure Data Explorer, or ADX, is an analytics database. So analytics database means that it's not a transactional database, means it's something that you use to analyze your data instead of storing your data as a master rubricate. So ADX is an analytics database. Uh, Something special about ADX, it excels in time series and searching text or unstructured data. So it can support structured data, like which is your typical schematized data, semi-structured data like JSON, and unstructured data like text. You can pass text along. It can scale to petabytes of data and can return a result of a query within seconds or even under a second sometimes. So it unbelievably is fast, and it's able to do that because it compresses the data automatically and it indexes the data automatically.
Oh, that's cool. And what's the query language? Is it SQL?
No, it's Kusto. So Kusto as an homage to Jacques-Yves Cousteau, the French sea explorer. So
Hmm.
data explorers to explore your data. We have Kusto as the query language. Let me show it to you actually instead of
Yeah, let's bring your
talking
screen.
about it. So here I have that's called the web UI for Data Explorer.
Okay.
I have a database. It's a demo database with a GitHub data set. So the first thing I'm going to do is to do a count. So this is Kusto. I start with a table name, and then I do pipe, and I do operators on that data. And I can do multiple operators. It's like a data flow. It's a data flow model. So yeah, I counted the number of rows I have in my table. So it's 1 billion rows. It's about 3 terabytes of data, the data set, if you would look under the hood of that database. If I look at the table, I could do a limit 10, so that's like a top 10 in SQL. And you can see I have a couple of fields. I have integers, a string type. Then I have some field in JSON and some more fields. So something I would like to show you is I can go actually inside the semi-structured data or the JSON field and the repo column. I'm going to go and
Hmm.
fetch the name. So I'm going to say, okay, GitHub project is like a select. So I'm projecting just a name. So I'm taking repo.name. So I'm going inside that field, taking that name. Then I take the result of that, which is going to be just one column name with all the names for each row. And I'm going to filter for the name that has Kusto in it. So to detect the repo name that has Kusto in it, I'm going to select only a distinct simple data set of those names. And finally, I'm going to order it by name. So if I run that query, you see it runs very fast, 0.2 seconds, and gives me 38 records with all the repos inside GitHub that has Kusto.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, and honestly, like I'm familiar with SQL and KQL, Kusto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. It seems very simple. So the question of the day is, where should I put my data? So can you tell me where Azure Data Explorer shine the most? Like for what kind of data should I use it?
Yeah. So the perfect scenario for Azure Data Explorer are logs, telemetry, and time series. So any type of data that is happen only. So telemetry, like IoT devices, telemetry is data that will keep coming in, maybe at a very rapid pace, but it's not something that you will go back and edit and do an update on the data. And those create time series that you want to analyze in the future. And typically, you're interested in the latest data. So maybe you're interested in the last hour of data, or you're interested in last day, last week, last month. But you're interested in that time window that's most recent. So that's the best case scenario for ADX. This is where it's most performant and useful.
Okay. And like you show us some queries earlier, so can I save those? So like or like can I interact with code with that? Can I run automatically some queries?
Yeah, so in the tool I show you, the web UI, you can it actually will remember your query. So it's
Oh,
working
that's
with
nice.
cookies and it will remember that. There's a desktop tool that's called Kusto Data Explorer. So it's a smart client running on Windows, and you can save the queries in there. So there are many ways to persist your queries. And,
Oh, wonderful. So I will make sure to put all the connections inside our show notes so people can find those and like open it straight from the web or download them and install them. That's cool.
For sure, and we even have. I'll share a link with you that you can actually learn Kusto. By the way, Kusto, you can learn. I learned it in 2 hours on a Friday afternoon, and there's a documentation where you can click and you can actually interact with the sample database without signing in for anything. So
I love that. I love that. Yeah, let's put that in the show notes. And so I can interact with that with my app because there's API. How that works?
Yeah, so to integrate, if you would like to integrate an application, you can go with the REST API, like many or all Azure services. API is available, and there are a layer of SDK built on top of those APIs. So we support 5 languages. We support C#, Java, Python, Node, and Go. So we have SDK that you can interact for either ingesting data or querying the data. So people will do that. Very often what we see, they will expose like a search of their data in an application. So instead of exposing directly the query experience that I showed you, they will expose like an advanced search. For instance, you can type some text and find some things, and the application will translate that into a query. The second biggest integration we see with applications was dashboards. So as I mentioned, Kusto is really good for telemetry data. So very often we'll want to have dashboard to show what's going on with our operations, basically.
Oh, wonderful. You know what? I need to start digging into that. Thank you a lot for your information.
Thank you for your time, Frank.